Dumb. Cool.
Weird.
Podcast. Next is the next movie in the Hercules series. It's number 4, Hercules in the Underworld.
Yes, and we start off with Eryx the Boxer killing the whole village, in which a small boy runs up to good old Hercules' home, begging for help. Hercules, as usual, shows up and tries to help the town, but for some reason decides he wants to keep holding back when beating up Eryx the Boxer, who is like a 7-foot-tall professional wrestler in real life.
Yep.
Yeah, and Zeus is in the background, and he can help, as usual, but, instead he's like, son, come on, keep your left up and, jab.
Yeah, almost like he thought he taught him how to do that.
Yeah, he fathered his son or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, well, anyways, Hercules decides to let go, and then keeps punching Eryx the Boxer in the dick, and he lands on this thing. He impales himself. Pretty badly.
Yum.
Yeah, no, and then you cut to the next town over. A giant hole from hell comes up because, that's a thing. And everybody gets devoured and eaten, in that local town.
Fun times.
Yeah, what was it? And the village sends over this what was the woman's position? She was like some kind of a wench.
Well, they had a lot of wenches back in those days.
Yeah, they had but I think she was like a professional wench that if she didn't complete her job in seducing Hercules to kill himself, that she would die too.
Well, yeah.
And then we had when we're getting the backstory of Hercules, enjoying his family, we never figure out why he has a centaur.
Yeah, because it never shows it in the Circle of Fire why he has a centaur, but he just does.
Nessus just shows up as his farmhand in the horse stable. What's he doing? Fucking the horse?
Yep.
That was so odd. Well, anyways, we cut over and you just kind of they're venturing off, and then for some reason, he tries to rape Hercules' wife while she tries to warn him.
Yep.
Got really dark, didn't it?
Yeah, it did get pretty dark.
Yeah, and eventually they finally make it to the fucking village, and he runs down the hole after that blanket. Oh yeah, by the way, Nessus bleeds all over this blanket, and it gave him all the mystical powers to put his killer blood all over it, so that through Hera, so that he can kill Hercules in another fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work out very well.
Yeah. And
and Hercules, while he's almost getting murdered by this fucking blanket, decides, I'm just gonna run to the hole and get this done. After Zeus goes on this whole thing of I really can't tell you if you're mortal or not.
And how the fuck does he not know?
Right?
Thought he was all-knowing God.
Yeah, he doesn't have a very good track record of knowing, right?
Yeah, he's just a not knower.
Yeah. Well, and then Hercules goes into hell and he meets Karen. Yeah. Where he just roasts the shit out of him and doesn't pay him.
Well, yeah, you got to pay him a gold coin,
Yeah, and Hercules is like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
And then he goes deeper into the underworld. Yeah,
because he was trying to help out Hades, and then Hades is like, yeah, your wife's here.
Yeah, that's how you entice him.
Yeah, and Hercules, not really understanding why, has to make a deal with Hades, saying, hey, I'll get Cerberus back in line if you give me back my wife.
Fair trade.
It was a fair trade, but his uncle Hades was kind of like
a dick.
He wasn't a dick. He was like, hey man, I made these rules for a reason.
Yeah.
They're already dead.
Yeah. Can't bring them back. It's funny. Hera, Zeus, and Hades are the only gods we see in these entire movies. It's kind of crazy, right?
Well, yeah, except the Titan.
Yeah, well, yeah, you see Prometheus.
Yeah, that was the only Titan that we see other than that.
Yeah, because, Titans aren't technically gods. They're more powerful than gods, or I don't know. How does that work?
I think their power is matched.
Oh, okay.
I think the gods were craftier and more mystical.
Yeah, so that's all we know. We just know Prometheus and then 3 gods, and that's all we see.
Yeah, and the movie gave us another lesson because earlier in the movie, his wife was like, "Oh, try using your words and kindness." No, wait, that was the she-wench. That was the she-wench who did that when that guy burned his mouth on some soup and started terrorizing the bar.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That did happen.
So when does Hercules run into those 3 chicks?
God, that was the 3 chicks. Yeah, that was when he was he got into hell after he beat up. I think it was after he beat up all those people he killed in the previous movies.
Yeah, including the centaur.
Yeah, the centaur shows back up again.
He's like, "Oh, nice to see you again, Hercules." And all these other people that he's killed show back up, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna fight you now." And he's just like, "All right, whip your ass again."
I love it. He's like, he got them all to turn on each other. He's like, "Hey, Eryx, didn't you kill such and such's mother?" And he's like, "You killed my mother?" He's like, "She was ugly." Like, that was his excuse. It was like, she was ugly. So it kind of did the world a favor.
Yep. And then he ends up going again. Like, I guess he ends up fighting those 3 chicks.
Yeah, he ended up. I think that was like before he ran into everybody because he was in like the zombie pit.
Yeah.
And that was before Nessus sent him to the place where his wife was hanging out, where all the beautiful hot ladies hang out in hell.
Yeah, and she couldn't remember anything. I remember that. Her memory was spotty at best. She's like, "Bitch, who are you?"
Yeah, and then he kisses her, and she's like, "Oh my God, Hercules, where am I?"
Yeah. And then Hades shows up.
Hades like, "Come on, man, I can't let her leave." He's like, "How about I get Cerberus back?" He's like, "But Cerberus is being tracked by my best hunters, who are just getting their ass handed to them every second of the way."
Yep. Yep, and that's when we cut to Cerberus, right? Where he fights him.
Yeah, and Cerberus, like, that was some pretty good effects, though, for Cerberus.
Yeah, they really kicked up the budget on that stuff, I can tell. For some of these movies.
No, and then, Hercules used that lesson that he learned in the bar. Use your words and kindness.
Yep.
And he got Cerberus back in chains.
Yeah, there you go.
And then, it was pretty much happily ever after that.
Yep, he gets his wife back, and they go back to being
with the kids.
A family again.
Yeah.
So what would you say is really dumb about this movie? Is it because we just didn't know where the fuck he came from?
Yeah, we just didn't know where he came from. This guy just lives in the horse stable. Yeah. Like from movie 3, at least... No, sorry, not movie 3. Yeah, movie 3, in the Circle of Fire, I thought they would at least do some kind of a segue if we're going to get that character.
Nothing.
In the 4th movie. Yeah,
that is pretty dumb. I think the coolest stuff about this movie is, because he was in the Underworld, a lot of the practical effects were really fucking cool.
Oh, yeah. So I thought the thing that was cool, though, is how they tied in everyone from the previous movies that he killed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and moving on to the weird, we can still go back to Nessus. It's fucking weird that this character's here. We don't even know where the fuck he came from.
Yeah, like, who the fuck is he? Mm-hmm. Why was he like, "Oh, I've been in love with her for years," but we didn't see him in the previous movie at all? Yeah. It's like, yeah, how would you know a centaur? Why would Hercules invite a centaur into his house? Makes no sense.
Makes no fucking sense. But that was Hercules in the Underworld. Pretty good movie. Kind of explores the lore a little bit. You get to see another god. You get to see, Hades a little bit.
Yeah, we've only seen Hades. We only know of Hades, Hera, and Zeus's existence, though.
Yep, absolutely.
And one Titan. That's crazy.
Yep, up to now. So, so we're done with this one. We're going to move on to the final movie, and that is the Minotaur. Yep. And
that was funny because they did allude to that in one of the other movies. Go fight a Minotaur or something.
Yep. So you want to sign us off for this one?
Stay sexy, Atlanta.
Thanks for checking out the Dumb Cool Weird podcast. We're a movie podcast now, so Movie Monday is every Monday about crappy movies from the 20th century. It's gonna be great, folks. I can't wait to show y'all.